So in the last video, we did an overview of what Xrefs are and how they apply in AutoCAD. And so typically for landscape designers, what I see, if they're doing a moderate sized plan, they will have essentially three main files that they use. They'll have a base file, which has their hardscape that they do the design, and that's in one file. They'll have a planting plan, which is typically their shrubs. And then depending on the project and the client, they might have a separate tree plan, which has trees and vines in it. Sometimes though, depending on the project size and client, they might combine the shrubs and trees into one file. It's kind of just their preference, but typically a lot of them, they'll put their hardscape in a separate file. So let's say this was a base for a front yard. I just drew something quick. Let's say this is the driveway, planting areas, and then here is the front entry walk. So I did this, just here's the line work. So I'm going to save this real quick on my desktop. I'm going to call this hardscape. Save. And then I'm going to open a new file here. I'm going to make this close. So then I'm going to make sure I choose a layer that you guys can see. So now if I want to attach the Xref, that hardscape into this file, then I'm going to say XR, bring up the manager. And then here, I'm going to say attach DWG. So that's the AutoCAD file. So you can attach many different things, most type of images, JPEGs, PDFs, all those sorts. DWFs, that's a kind of a form of a DWG file. So you can attach these different items. So I'll attach the DWG, and I'm going to go here to my desktop. And so this, you will see here, is it will ask me, is this is the attached or overlay. I want it attached. It's going to say if I want it in a specific location, or you could scale it if you wanted. I'm just going to bring everything in at a scale of 1 and at the coordinates 0, 0, 0. That's why it's also important. I typically always want to do everything at 0, 0 points, because then when you start dealing with multiple files, if you bring in the files at different insertion points, which is different locations in this file, it gets complex. Simple is best. So I'm going to click OK, and you can see now it's attached. And you can see down here that the file, this is the path. So it's Gary Collins on my OneDrive and my desktop and hardscape. So now I go here, and now you can see this is an external reference. You know, I can't select the individual lines. It's on here, and I can start working without modifying the work, you know, that's in the other file, unless I need to. So let's say I'm an irrigation guy, so you're going to see me do some irrigation here. I'm just going to quickly say, I'm going to make this up. Let's say I need a 8/4 here, and an 8/4 here, and 8/4 here, here, and maybe I need 5/4 here. Back. And then what's really nice is this is where the tracing comes in with polylines. So now I have this Xref, is when I draw my polyline, I can easily trace over it and use my on snaps. And I'm going to offset to create my pipe. And then I'm selecting it, and I'm going to change this to the lateral lateral pipe layer. So I'm going to change it to that layer. So now I just copied. So now my work, my irrigation is just over on top, and then everything will plot. So let's say I wanted to go in here and edit this hardscape. Let's say I had a note in here, just so you guys can see. So let's say I had a note. I'm just going to leave it say text. I'm going to save. It's going to ask you to reload so that it brings in that save. And now that I reload, it brought that in. So let's say I had a note on my hardscape plan that said that, you know, concrete shall be a sand finish with the cuts at, I don't know, every 3 foot on spacing. I'm not a hardscape guy, but let's say you had something along those lines. But I don't need that for my irrigation plan. So what I can do is I'm gonna take my freeze layer with the little snowflake, and I'm just gonna freeze it. And now that note goes away. So if I want, if I go back to the layers, sorry, layers, you can see under Xrefs, I'm only gonna have, so these are all the layers in the Xref. And we want to see this one, text and call out, is the one that I froze. So if I want to bring it back, I just unfreeze it. And now it's back. I want to turn it off. And just freeze it again. So that's the importance of that. And so this gives a good base. Now let's say I wanted to come in here real quickly and just edit the Xref in place. Let's say I'm the designer and I don't like how this is laying out, and I have the ability. Let's say I want to change this sidewalk. So then now you can see with how it reflects with everything. I can't change, you know, I can't change my spray heads right now because I'm in the Xref, but I can change my hardscape because I'm in that file. And let's say I wanted to make that adjustment. Now I save my work. Now I can come back here, readjust my heads, and I've quickly made that change. And then I'll show you another thing that we do sometimes. So I'm going to save this as my irrigation file. So let's say for some reason this happens, but let's say I'm going to draw randomly these circles in here. Maybe these circles are plants. Again, I'm not a landscape designer, so you can mock me all you want for my shrub layout. Really big shrubs for whatever reason. And you'd probably shoot me because actually, if I know anything about the industry, you don't do square, you do a nice offset. So let's say those were shrubs. Let's say I want to put this in a separate file now. So what I can do is if I do copy with base point, and then I'm going to type in the base point that I want, 0, 0, 0. The importance of the zeros. Select what I want, hit enter. Now I'm going to open up a new drawing. I'm going to say paste. I can do paste to original coordinates, or you know, if I had specialty coordinates, I could do it. But since we're keeping the same coordinates, I'm just going to do paste to original coordinates. And then I'm going to call this, I'm going to save this, I'm going to say shrubs. on my desktop. And I'm going to delete these out of the plan. And now I'm going to go back. You can see the process. So XR for Xref Manager. I'm going to attach the file. I'm going to attach the shrub file. I want it attached, 0 zeros, no scaling. And now, as you saw, they now pop in as an Xref right where I had them because everything is to that 0, 0 point. So now I have a shrub file here, I have my hardscape file here, and I have in this drawing, I have my irrigation that I can live edit. So that's a little overview of that. And then I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to take this shrub file. See if it does it for me. I'm going to move that shrub file out of the desktop into a folder. So it should lose the path. And then I'm going to XR. If you ever want to, if you right click on it, you can then reload the file. And now when I reload it, that's basically refreshing. You can see here, if I reload it, everything had stayed the same. But now because I moved that shrub, you can see now it lost the path down here. So what I have to do is now I need to go find the path. So now I go to the Xref folder, select, click on the shrub file that we had, click OK and open, and now it has the new path. And now the line work shows up. So that's how you can, if you don't have good file management, you can easily go awry on Xrefs because they'll lose the path and then there's headaches of that. So, but yeah, so that's a good little overview for you to see the importance of Xrefs, how it works in your workflow, and the importance of it. Let's say I wanted to do, let's see if I can bring up. I'm gonna go here, sprinkler. Images on Google. Let's say I want this image. All right, so now I grab the JPEG. So let's say I want to attach the JPEG. I select image, and then I can go here and sprinkler. Let's say I wanted to make it bigger. Instead of 1:1, you know, I could make it twice the size. So when I come in here, I can then attach the JPEG. Same thing with PDFs. I can also then, let's say I want to scale it. I can scale the image. Now I want to make it bigger. Just remember when you do this, this is a raster image where these other items are vector. So if you scale this too high, you could get really pixelated depending on how you plot. So that's the only thing I would say would be my concern if you're bringing in PDFs and images. So that is basically you know, the simplified versions of Xrefs, and I hope you enjoyed it.